It's Monday again, and instead of starting fresh into the week, you just don't feel it. Most people feel like this. We just don't want to get up early and go to work, spend the majority of our time at work for another week. It's horrible that most people don't even like the jobs they do. Nevertheless, most of us spend 40 hours or even more per week working. Usually on Mondays, we're looking for Friday and wishing it was weekend again. But shouldn't we like our jobs and feel motivated every day? Should our work not feel like having fun? We believe that work should be fun and we should spend our times in happy environments. That's why we looked at our top 5 motivation killers and how to fight them. Maybe you can have a look out for them and make your work life more fun as well. And who knows, maybe you also don't need vacays from your life anymore. First of all, what is this motivation everybody seems to be talking about and why do we need it? Motivation is an emotional and neural activity that makes us strive to achieve our goals and dreams. Without motivation, we would never get what we need. Motivation helps us going from a state of wishing to actually acting. Therefore, it can be said that motivation is a decisive factor for having success at work. What could be some motivation killers that make it hard to feel motivated at work? Luckily, we put together our top 5 and how you can tackle them. Motivation killer number 1, bad communication. Communication is the exchange between people that happens with the use of language, verbal, or signs, nonverbal. Here we usually have a sender, that could be someone that wants to send a message, and a receiver, that is the person that gets the message. Let's say this is Ralph. Ralph wants to talk to Tony, his friend. He's thinking what he wants to say. He's already coding his message into words and then he says, "Hey Tony, let's go hiking in the woods." Now, when Tony gets Ralph's message, he starts to decode in order to understand it. Now he understood that Ralph wants to go hiking. He thinks that he really wants to go hiking and starts coding his feedback to Ralph. Since our messages are coded in words, it can always be that the other party does not fully understand our message and the way we meant it. This is because everybody codes and decodes differently, which can lead to misunderstandings. Let's look at another model that also explains why we code and decode in different ways. The model is called the iceberg model. The iceberg model has 2 levels. The first level is the factual level. Here we share the obvious things that you can see like numbers, data, or facts. This is also why the factual level is not underwater. You can see it. The second level is the relational level. This level is underwater, so you cannot see it right away. Here we can find instincts, experiences, values, for example. To find these out, you need to listen more actively and get to know the person. Then it will get easier to find out what the person is actually meaning. What can you do to enhance your communication now? Should you have some rough conversations pending? Preparation is your key to success. You should be very clear on which goals you want to achieve with that conversation. Try also to be empathetic towards the other person and listen actively to understand their iceberg better and decode the message in the right way. At the same time, you should try to be as clear as possible so the other person can decode your message. Motivation killer number 2, a bad working atmosphere. Ralph works for a small company. Everybody works very closely, so they have very family kind of vibe in the office. Here and there, 2 of his colleagues get into fights. That leads to a very bad atmosphere for all employees working in the office. Everybody is feeling demotivated and uncomfortable. What could be done here? Create a safe and transparent environment. It is important that both parties can speak openly. If they cannot do that by themselves, they might need a neutral mediator who tries to conciliate between both parties. For the company, it is important to create good role models and at the same time give everybody the freedom to be themselves. For example, team events or trainings can help to let the team members know each other's iceberg more in order to communicate better. If nothing helps and the situation is heated, it might be good to take a break. Go for a walk, read something completely different, or have a nice chat with your colleagues about another topic. Then go back to the conversation a lot calmer. Motivation killer number 3 is a 0 defect culture. The company that Ralph works in is very open in handling mistakes. Everybody knows that mistakes can happen and are a very natural thing. It is important to do mistakes so you can learn from them and avoid these the next time. Often mistakes are even essential to finding things out, so they could be even seen as innovational. If Ralph, for example, does a very bad mistake that potentially also costs a lot of money, he doesn't try to hide his mistake. He tries to have a solution-oriented conversation with his boss. Now both of them together try to find solutions and make the best out of it. Our tip here is stay optimistic and look for solutions. Accept that mistakes are part of the process. Motivation killer number 4. No passion for your work. A lot of people do a job they really don't like. It is important, though, to find an occupation that is fun to do for you, because it's pleasant to do. It won't feel that much like work. Of course, no activity can always be fun. It just needs to have more good moments than bad ones. If you are in a job that you absolutely hate, you should start thinking of doing something that you like. In times of the internet, it is possible to monetize almost everything. Motivation killer number 5. Missing recognition. Ralph is motivated and tries to do his work in the best way he can. His boss sees that and recognizes Ralph's hard work regularly. Ralph knows that he is valued and that his work contributes to the success of the company. If employees don't feel recognized, it's not only the motivation that is non-existent. They also tend to be sick more often and are not really happy at work. Worst case can also lead to an inner resignation. If you never get recognition, you could ask your boss or team colleagues what you could do better and what actually was good. If you have a team, you should keep in mind that recognition for good work is essential and will give you happy and motivated team members. These 5 motivation killers were some examples that we thought of. Was this video helpful? Which motivation killers do you fight? Let us know in the comments below. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to this channel. We see each other in the next video.